Skip Benton with Coldwell Banker Select Real Estate is bringing you today's deep dive, where we are discussing best places to retire. If you're looking to retire in northern Nevada, then contact Skip. Welcome to the show. Today, we're diving into a topic that's probably on a lot of your minds: the best places to retire in 2025.
And we're not just skimming the surface here. We're going beyond those typical top 10 lists to really understand what makes these places tick, and more importantly, what factors you should be considering as you plan for your own retirement.
You're right. It's about more than just palm trees and beaches, isn't it? We're going deep into the latest U.S. News and World Report rankings, and they've made a pretty significant change this year. They've switched from ranking entire metro areas to focusing on individual cities. What do you make of that?
It's a smart move. Think about it. The Dallas area is huge. This new approach gives us a much more focused, granular view. So instead of just saying, hey, Dallas is great for retirement, we can actually pinpoint which specific city within Dallas might be the best fit for you.
Okay, so let's spill the beans. What city snagged the top spot?
Drumroll, please. It's Naples, Florida. Not a huge shock, right? But what's interesting is that Virginia Beach came in at a close second this year, followed by, wait for it, New York City.
New York City. Wow. That one throws me for a loop. I wouldn't exactly picture the hustle and bustle of the Big Apple as the retiree's paradise.
Right. It really challenges those preconceived notions about retirement. Further down the list, we see Sarasota, Florida, Boise, Idaho, and then a whole bunch of cities in the Carolinas and the Midwest. What really jumps out at me is the dominance of the Midwest and South.
I noticed that too. It makes you wonder what's driving this trend. Is it just about escaping those harsh northern winters?
It's definitely more than that. Affordability plays a huge role. The cost of living in many of these cities is significantly lower than on the coasts, which means your retirement savings can go a lot further. But even more than that, many of these states have policies specifically designed to attract retirees.
So it's not just about cheaper housing then. Are we talking about things like tax breaks?
Oh, exactly. Take Florida, for example. It has no state income tax, which is a huge draw for retirees looking to stretch their nest egg. Other states have favorable policies on things like property taxes or inheritance taxes. But even beyond the financial aspects, there's a growing emphasis on happiness in retirement, and that seems to be a big factor in these rankings as well.
You bring up a really interesting point. What does happiness in retirement actually mean? Is it about being surrounded by family? Is it having access to world-class health care? Or maybe it's about finding a vibrant community with shared interests. What do you think?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's different for everyone, but the rankings try to capture this elusive concept by looking at 6 key factors. Happiness, of course, but also affordability, healthcare, desirability, retiree taxes, and even the job market.
Wait, job market? I thought we were talking about retirement, not finding a new career.
I know, it seems counterintuitive. But think about it. Many people want to stay active and engaged in retirement, maybe even pursue a second act career or a passion project. A strong job market can provide those opportunities.
I see your point. And having a little extra income never hurts.
Right, exactly. Plus, a thriving job market is often an indicator of a healthy and vibrant economy, which can benefit everyone, not just those looking for work. Now, let's talk about healthcare for a second. That becomes even more crucial as we age.
Absolutely. And it's not just about having a hospital nearby. It's about access to specialists, geriatric care, and all those services that become more important as we get older.
You nailed it. And then there's desirability. That's a catch-all term for those intangible qualities that make a place truly appealing. Things like beautiful scenery, mild weather, cultural attractions, a strong sense of community. That feeling of this place just feels right.
Okay, so we've got this framework of 6 factors. Let's dive into some of those top-ranked cities and see how they measure up. Starting with Naples, Florida. It's consistently ranked high. But what sets it apart besides those gorgeous beaches?
Well, Naples has a lot going for it. It boasts a thriving arts and culture scene, world-class dining, and a jam-packed social calendar. So there's never a dull moment. Plus, it has a relatively low crime rate and a strong sense of community, which can be very appealing to retirees.
So it's more than just a place to soak up the sun. There's some real substance there. What about Virginia Beach? It jumped all the way to number 2 this year. What's fueling that surge in popularity?
Virginia Beach is an intriguing one. It offers a unique blend of coastal living and urban amenities. You've got those beautiful beaches, of course, but also a bustling boardwalk, a strong military presence, and a growing economy. It's a city that appeals to a wide range of interests and lifestyles.
Interesting. It sounds like there's something for everyone there. But now, for the real head-scratcher, New York City. How does it even make the list with that sky-high cost of living? What are retirees seeing in the Big Apple that we're missing?
It's all about the energy and diversity. New York City offers unparalleled access to arts and culture, world-class healthcare, and a constantly evolving culinary scene. It's a city that never sleeps. And for some retirees, that's a major draw. They want to be in the heart of the action, surrounded by endless possibilities.
So it's about more than just a change of scenery. It's about a change of pace, a chance to immerse yourself in a completely different environment. But let's be real. New York City isn't for the faint of heart or the light of wallet.
Definitely not. But it highlights the broader trend we're seeing. Retirement is no longer about slowing down and fading away. It's about embracing new experiences, pursuing passions, and living life to the fullest, even if that means navigating crowded sidewalks and hailing taxis.
It's fascinating how different people define the good life in retirement, isn't it? For some, it's about peace and quiet. For others, it's about being in the thick of it all.
Absolutely. And the beauty of it is there are so many amazing options out there to fit every personality and preference. These rankings are a great starting point, but ultimately, the best place to retire is the one that resonates with your soul.
So true. Speaking of the rankings, I should mention that U.S. News & World Report uses a pretty comprehensive methodology. They pull data from all sorts of sources, like the U.S. Census Bureau, the FBI, FEMA, and even their own best hospitals rankings. They're not just picking cities out of a hat.
Right. They're taking a data-driven approach, which is important, but remember, statistics can only tell you so much. The real magic happens when you take that data and combine it with your own personal needs and desires.
How can our listeners go beyond these rankings and really personalize their search for the perfect retirement spot? Where should they even begin?
It starts with asking yourself some tough questions. What are your non-negotiables? What are your deal breakers? Do you prioritize being close to family? Or is access to cultural attractions more important? What about climate? Do you dream of year-round sunshine? Or do you prefer 4 distinct seasons?
And then there are the practical considerations, right? Healthcare, transportation, proximity to amenities like grocery stores, pharmacies, parks. It's a lot to juggle.
It can be overwhelming, but it's also incredibly exciting. This is your chance to design a life that truly brings you joy and fulfillment. And those rankings, along with some thoughtful self-reflection, can be your compass on that journey.
Instead of getting caught up in the top 10 hype, focus on what truly matters to you.
Exactly. Think about your ideal day in retirement. What does it look like? Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? Once you have a clear vision, finding the perfect place becomes much easier.
That's such great advice. Visualize your dream retirement, and then let that vision guide your search.
What other tips do you have for our listeners who might be feeling a little lost in the sea of possibilities? Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Maybe a place you never considered before suddenly becomes a top contender. Once you start really digging into what it has to offer, talk to people who have already retired to different areas, get their firsthand perspectives.
And don't rule out visiting potential retirement spots. There's no substitute for experiencing a place firsthand.
Absolutely. Walk the streets, check out the local scene, chat with the residents, see if the vibe feels right.
And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. The best place to retire is the one that best aligns with your unique values, lifestyle, and aspirations.
Beautifully said. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you can relax, recharge, and truly enjoy the fruits of your labor. Retirement should be a time of celebration, exploration, and connection. It's about making the most of every moment and creating memories that will last a lifetime.
Speaking of making memories, this conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about. I'm already starting to envision my own dream retirement.
Me too. It's contagious, isn't it?
It really is. It's inspiring to think about all the possibilities that lie ahead. But I think it's important to acknowledge that retirement planning can feel overwhelming at times, especially in the early stages.
Absolutely. There are so many factors to consider, from finances and healthcare to lifestyle and location. It's easy to get bogged down in the details and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Exactly. So how can our listeners avoid feeling paralyzed by all these decisions? What steps can they take today to start moving in the right direction?
First and foremost, don't panic. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that this is a journey, not a race.
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the frenzy of, I need to figure everything out right now.
Yeah.
But that's just not realistic.
Or necessary.
Exactly. Start by breaking down the process into smaller, more manageable steps. And remember, you don't have to do it all alone. There are resources available to help you every step of the way, from financial advisors to retirement coaches, to online communities. That's true. And don't underestimate the power of talking to friends and family members who have already gone through this process. They can offer invaluable insights and support.
Absolutely. Sometimes just hearing someone else's story can help you feel less alone and more confident in your own ability to navigate this transition.
So, instead of getting bogged down in the overwhelm, focus on taking small, consistent actions.
Exactly. Even if it's just spending 15 minutes each week researching different retirement locations or talking to a financial advisor about your savings plan.
Those small steps can really add up over time and make a huge difference in the long run.
They absolutely can. And remember, retirement planning is not just about finances and logistics. It's also about envisioning the life you want to live and taking steps to make that vision a reality.
It's about creating a future filled with purpose, passion, and joy.
Hmm.
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question. With all these factors swirling around in your head, what's one small action you can take this week to move closer to your ideal retirement?
That's a great question to ponder. It doesn't have to be anything major. Maybe it's reading an article about a potential retirement destination or scheduling a call with a financial advisor. The important thing is to take action and keep the momentum going.
And remember, you don't have to have all the answers right now. It's about exploration, discovery,
Yeah.
and creating a roadmap that feels right for you.
Exactly. Retirement planning is a journey, and the most important thing is to enjoy the ride.
Well said. And a huge thank you to Skip Benton with Coldwell Banker Select Real Estate for bringing us today's deep dive. If you are looking to retire in Northern Nevada, then contact Skip